Dylan was like, so I need you to set the budget for the podcast area, and I was like, $0. You get no budget. It was like, welcome back to the Give It Gas podcast, where we talk about business and personal finance, marketing, all that kind of stuff, just things you need to know to get through your financial life. So my name is Travis.
And I'm Dylan.
This is Dylan, and we're just going to jump right in this morning. I said we're going to get a little bit more technical on the last podcast, so I actually wanted to get more technical. But before we do that, how's your morning going, brother?
It's good.
Yeah?
It's good.
We're staying busy around here.
Yeah, very busy.
I feel like we say that every single podcast, but it's true. We're staying busy around here, but I'm excited.
I would say we have like a lot more exciting stuff that's like happening for us every day, that we kind of are hatching up new ideas. We were trying to finalize like podcast, like equipment and everything yesterday
for the new podcast space that you're just so
trying to build out
about.
the budget for it, for cameras, tripods, light boxes, like all these different things, trying to figure that out. So that's exciting.
And the listeners don't know how cheap I am yet, but I'm super cheap.
It's not going to look cheap, but
Dylan was like, so I need you to set the budget for the podcast area, and I was like, $0. You get no budget.
It was like realistic.
He's like, but seriously, anything 100, 200, anything. I was like, 0.
Yeah.
No, I'm not cheap. I love my stuff, but I am cheap in the sense of I live my life super afraid every day that everything we built is just going to go away on one bad decision. So I'm constantly trying my hardest to not make bad decisions, and I'm sure you guys listening feel that exact same way.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then what's the cool thing? I think we started this after we recorded last week's podcast. We're providing value in some way. Do you want to jump in on what that is? For people?
The Cerakoter and stuff.
Yeah.
Thing? Okay. I was like, wait, what?
I didn't want to explain what it was. I wanted you to be able to. Yeah. But
Right. So on our Shalo-tek website and then on the Instagram, we've been reaching out to a lot of Cerakoters and stipplers, because when you go through Shalo-tek, the idea is that when you come through us to get slide cuts, optic cuts, anything like that, most of the time you're sending your slides and whatever other parts on your gun that you're getting done Cerakoted, you're getting your grips stippled.
Which, if you guys
like
don't
that.
know what that is, that's like Cerakote is painting.
Search it.
Search it. They're driving down the road. Don't be using your phone while you're driving down the road. If you're listening to this on podcast,
look it up after.
Cerakoting's all the painting that you would see on a gun. It could be camouflage. It could be rustic. There's all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
And then stippling is like cool grips, essentially.
Yep.
So, and most of our business from Shalo-tek on the retail side of things comes from those people.
Yeah.
Right now, it's their customers that they're sending
Our way.
Yep. We're trying to reverse it. We're trying to provide them value.
Yep.
And as we have customers, we can send them their way. And I had to come to Dylan last week because I keep seeing these things like pop up in Facebook groups. It was like, hey, I'm looking for a local stippler. I'm looking for a local Cerakoter. And there really is no database out there at all. So my bright idea is like, let's see if we create a database if that helps anything. And obviously there's ulterior motives, right? Our goal hopefully is that people look towards like recommend this database just in general, and then when people land on our website, they may have never heard of us before, and maybe they'll buy something off of us.
Yeah.
Right? The goal is to be, but for right now, we're just providing a free resource.
Yeah. Which, to elaborate on what the database is, it's a map centralized around the idea of Cerakoters and stipplers that are in your area. So if you went on to the Shalo-tek website, you can go to shalo-tek.com /Cerakoters and stipplers, and you'd be able to go straight to the page, and at the top it says Cerakoters and stipplers in your area. Shows a map with all of the different Cerakoters and stipplers locations around the U.S. So it's not just centralized here in Florida. It's to reach everybody that's throughout the U.S. So we've got people all the way in Florida up to Minnesota, all the way down to over to Oregon, down in Texas. Like, it's all over, and we're still building that page up as time goes on.
Yeah,
we only just started
we had,
it.
How many people hit it? Like within 2 days?
Like 60.
Yeah.
60 people. Yeah, so it's like we just made it, like today's Wednesday. We just made it Thursday of last week.
Yeah.
And we're starting to get a lot of traffic on it. So we're going to see what happens with it. But the idea is to keep growing it because we know there's a lot more Cerakoters and stipplers out there. We just have to reach out to them. But we do market it on our social media. So hopefully if they happen to see it on like an explore page or they follow us and they see it on our story, hit us up. Let us know you want to be added to that page if you're a Cerakoter and a stippler.
Yeah, if you're listening
and
to
we'd
this
love
right now.
to get you on there because, we want to, the idea is we want to help smaller businesses and, even normal size big businesses. But like Travis said, like there's just nothing out there that points to like there's these people in your area and there's these people in your area. So if you go on our website, you can check that out. It's got links to their Instagram profile, their locations. Some of them have phone numbers and emails listed, so you can get all that information straight from the website.
Yeah, if you're a listener and just a regular gun guy, feel free to just check that out too. A lot of these guys are really good at what they do. Dylan, that was a great pitch, brother. That was great. I wasn't sure. I think that was like your first like hardcore pitch that you had to do.
Yeah.
And you did it well. Claps, snaps for you. For you guys listening that you're like, I don't do guns. That's cool. What's the point of this?
That's not cool. I'm just kidding.
The point is, with this podcast, we want to continue to give you guys an insight into what we're doing and the things that we're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So maybe you're in a business that has nothing to do with this, but maybe you could do that exact same thought process in your demographic. Who knows? But we just want to tell you or show you what's working, what's not working. And more so just continue to remind you, find ways to provide value. It's out there, right? Provide value without anything in return up front. And hopefully you get some return in the back.
Yeah.
So that's a quick update on what's going on around here. Today's technical side of things, some info for you outside of that, is going to be talking about margins real quick. So this is for anyone with a consumer product thing at all. This is going to be really quick, but I just wanted to break down some numbers because maybe you haven't set numbers yet on your product and you're trying to figure it out, or maybe you've been selling it, e-com, and that's great, but now you're looking to get into distribution or retail and you haven't stepped down that road at all before. I'm going to hopefully give you some quick tips. I like tidbits better, to help you kind of start to structure your products and your pricing around that. Because if your pricing's not right, it doesn't matter how good your product is, retailers, distributors, they aren't going to touch it because there's not enough butter on it. So let's start with non-retailers, non-distributors. You're just selling your product outright. The ultimate goal is obviously sell it as expensive as you literally can, right? I guess that's like the obvious thing. Go for whatever you can, whatever the market dictates. Are you the Gucci of the world or are you the Target brand of the world? And either one's okay. I don't even know if Gucci's good anymore. Does that get top line? I don't. Okay.
Yeah, they do.
So, some people set a higher value on their product, and it's the exact same thing. One of our main competitors of our Shalo-tek wallet, I'm not going to say who it is, but they're more expensive than we are, even though I know they have less money in it, into the product, which good for them. Like, I have no problem with that at all. They're able to structure themselves as this premium brand product. I came right underneath them and said, okay, I'm going to come in right underneath. We sell our wallet for $65, and we are going to have enough quality in our product that hopefully people see that we're actually even better quality at a better price, which we are better quality at a better price. But the thought ran through my head. Are you pulling out your wallet?
I do want to pull it out just for the fact of like people who haven't seen it before.
Quick plug for Shalo-tek wallet.
That's it. Like, it's pretty nice.
Yeah,
it's top quality as well. Like,
yeah,
you
no,
you
it's
go
good.
to Walmart and you find your normal like bifold, trifold wallet. It's like $30. Why not spend an extra $35 and get
But
a
why
very
are you doing
quality
marketing?
wallet?
You just need to get into sales
saying.
constantly around here. So anyways, we set our price just under it. I had a mental battle in my mind constantly thinking like we could go even cheaper, right? The problem is there's knockoffs of our competitors selling for $10 on Amazon, right? Which somebody at some point is going to knock off our wallet, and it just is what it is. It's a little bit harder because we didn't outsource everything to China. We make it all here. We handle it all. So it'll be a little bit harder for somebody to knock off at some point, but somebody will. But anyways, get as much as you can that's reasonable. Decide in your mind where you want to be. I mean, Supreme was able to sell bricks for I think like $1,200. So good for them, right? Who knows what that is? But so that's kind of a duh thing. But I just want to set that before we step into the next thing. Retailers, if you actually want to get into a retail space, you're going to need to be able to offer between a 30 and a 40% margin. All right, Travis, how do you calculate margin? All right, it's very simple. You make your product for $5. You sell your product for $10. To get your margin, you subtract the 5 from the 10, which gives you the middle value, and then that middle value you divide by the 10. If that makes sense. I should not be a math teacher. But you make your product for $5, you sell your product for $20. Your margin is 20 minus 5, which is 15. 15 divided by 20 gives you your margin 75%. If you don't want to sit there and do that math on your calculator, go on Google. I love going to Omni Calculator all the time. It does the math for me, and I can quickly just change the percentages and try to figure it out. But here in this store in Mill Out, we're sitting in it right now for a few more weeks until we get our podcast set up, which Dylan's super excited about.
Yep.
But here in this store, we sell everything between 30 and 40%. We love to get 40%. It makes sense for us to get 40% to keep things on the shelf, right? A retailer is having to essentially do a gamble on any product they sell. They're having to gamble on your product. So unless you come in and consign that product, which would work for the short term, but you're still going to run into it long term, most retailers want to touch 40% because they're essentially saying, okay, I'm going to buy all this product. It's going to sit on my shelf. What if it doesn't sell? Like, I think we have $60,000 worth of inventory sitting in this small 1,400 square foot space. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember I was trying to get a brand called Danner in for their boots, and they wanted a $35,000 opening order. And I'm like, and their margins were only, I think, 30%, something along those lines. I'm like, that's dang near half. It was over half of my inventory that I had at that time because it was a few years ago. I'm like, that's scary. And that's a risk. So you have to understand when you're going into retailers, they're having to take on risk. So they're going to want some type of margin. Understand that your product, you're going to have to be able to offer them anywhere between 30 and 40%. Okay. The step before retailers are distributors. Those I've seen anywhere as low as 5%. I've seen them as high as like 20%. It depends on what it is. So think of your, in our world, in the gun world, if there's any gun people listening, or like people that are in the gun business or trying to grow their gun business, you've probably heard of RSR or Sports South or Kroll, which I vented about one of those one time, and we won't say which one it was. But those are your distributors. So a lot of times, if a retailer, for actually everyone that's listening, if it's a boutique or anything, if you are too small to go straight to the manufacturer, which oftentimes really happens early on, what a lot of people will do is they'll go to a distributor. So a distributor goes to a ton of different manufacturers, brings in all kinds of product, and makes a small sliver of a margin and sells to a bunch of smaller retailers. They're willing to take on all the small accounts, whereas a manufacturer like Under Armour doesn't want to deal with you unless you're ordering, $15,000, $20,000 a year. It's too much of a headache for them. So they'd rather sell their products for a little bit less of a margin into a few distributors, do more volume, and save the headaches, and let the distributors go into the retailers and take on multiple retailers at the end of the day. So I've seen those distributors, like I said, work down to 5% all the way up to 20%. So, okay, Travis, what does that mean? That means we have 30 to 40%, and then on top of that, you have between 5 and 20%. So let's take the lowest side of things. Maybe you have the most banging product in the world that sells through the roof. You know it's going to do the volume. You can say, listen, you're going to make it up in volume, so I'm going to offer it to you at a lower price point because that's what it is. So the retailer is going to get, I'm going to bring out my handy dandy Omni calculator for a moment. Let's say your product sells for $30. and that margin needs to be 30%, that means that retailer is going to want to buy it for $21 at the end of the day. So if your product retails on your, let's say, website for $30, but you're ready to go into retailers and you're offering a 30% margin, your product needs to go for $21. All right, that's easy. You're starting to explode there. You want to get even bigger. And you could say Walmart, you could say a distributor, whatever it is. You have to now start at that $21 mark because that distributor is going to sell in that product at $21 to the retailers so they can make their margin. So what are you going to sell your product into the distributors at? So your now new revenue is $21 at 5%. That means $19.95. So it's not much. You don't have to come off much. But what that really means to you is you're so used to making $30 on your product through e-com side of things. If you wanted to go into retail, you got to need to be near that $19 mark. And if you can't get to that $19 mark and still make money the way you want, even if you're doing it in volume, then your product's not set up for retail and you need to either cut your cost or raise your price at the end of the day. So simple math. I hope I didn't just blow over people's heads really quickly doing that math. I don't know. Did I blow over your head?
No,
because
not really.
You and I have never really talked about margins. So if you understand
I'm
it,
also pretty good at math.
but if you understand the concept, that means people listening understand the concept. So
Right.
It makes
right.
sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. So that's what I got today. It's like I said, it was going to be simple, quick, and easy, but hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you're now able to start doing some math in your head of like, crap, I need to, cut some costs somewhere, or let's start stepping my price up on my e-com website and see if people entertain that thought. See if you can still sell it with a higher price and then go get after it.
Yep.
The goal, I always tell, I tell my business partner, Matthew, this in Shalo-tek, I'd rather have a few customers and be making like 10% margin, but be doing the same amount of like more volume than have like 5,000 customers and making 30% margin. That's my own personal thing because you have to touch less customers at the end of the day, which is less potential customer service issues and all that kind of jazzy jazz. But that's my own personal thing. I do want to build a big brand, and I ultimately do want that. I'm personally saying the business I like doing is the business out the back door, not the front door. I love all the customers on the front door, and I love hanging out with them and talking to them and all that stuff. But when it comes to the actual business I like doing, I will take the smaller margins. Now, my mom, on the other hand, she is the type of personality where she likes the higher margins in dealing with each individual customer. It's where her brain functions. And I don't think anyone's right or wrong. I think it's just you have to decide who you are and what you want to be. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're a product that never goes to retail. I know even like Nike, from what I understand, I think they made this decision a year ago. They're starting to pull all their products out of Foot Lockers and all that, and they're just going to go their own either e-com or their own retail distribution because they know the margins are there and they know the brand can handle it and they know people will travel to wherever there is. You see it in like Pandora. I don't know if you can really find like Pandora outside of a Pandora. You can find knockoffs, but I don't think you can find Pandora outside of a Pandora retailer. So,
no.
Whereas Fossil you can. Fossil has their own, and So, anywho, that's decide what you are. And I don't think there's a wrong answer, but there is going to be a hiccup if you don't have the margins there, if you do want to go retail. So that's what I got for you guys today. I appreciate you listening or watching if you're on YouTube.
Think we should not tell people what it is, but the fact that we're doing something big within the next 3 weeks.
4 weeks.
What do you think?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. We're just going to say we have something. We have some big news coming that you're going to want to subscribe to our YouTube channel for.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Tell your friends, tell your family.
You're going to want to subscribe.
Yeah.
And I mean, watch some videos, please, but at least you're going to want to subscribe. Mm-hmm. We'll announce that in the next few weeks. I don't want to announce it yet. Okay. I want to have it like in front of everyone's face. That way it's not like obviously we're giving something away, but I don't want for like completely free, just if you're a subscriber.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it until it's literally in their face. So it seems real. Mm-hmm. It's not just all talk.
Well, I was just going to say,
I don't want to be all talk.
There is a giveaway.
There's a giveaway.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So if you're listening on podcasts, also subscribe on our YouTube channel. It's not just our podcast on our YouTube channel. We're having other fun stuff, and we're doubling down in May, and we're trying to go to 2, like we do the 2 podcasts and a regular video every week. We're trying to do 2 podcasts and 2 videos starting in May. So there's more content. If you're not following us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram. Dylan's getting better slowly about figuring out how to, or not how to, but what content to drop there. So we're going to start dropping more tidbits on our Instagram that are kind of like look from our YouTube, all that stuff. So go follow us. We appreciate it on all the platforms. YouTube,
Spotify, Apple,
even if you listen on
Google.
Spotify, go on your Apple and subscribe there too, and leave a review on all of it. Go on YouTube, subscribe. Go on Instagram, follow, and then tell us what you think. We actually appreciate you hanging in there, because this is starting to feel good. We're just continuing to kind of put it in, but we want to learn. I'm not going to bring any guests in until we get into our new podcast space. There's just not enough space here, but that is only a few weeks away. And I would love to, maybe on the first, just like, boom, new podcast space and a guest. I'm going to talk to Brian about that. I'm going to say Brian can get in. All right, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.
All right, peace.
See you.